What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Vulkan, and today we have a pretty good one. There's a lot of really cool information that dropped over the past few days that I think a lot of people are going to be pretty pumped about. And that's Last Epoch finally has a confirmed launch date of February 21st, 2024. Now, this has been a very long road for the devs and any players that are kind of taking part in the early access thing. So for me, I've been covering Last Epoch since 2018, and I've created quite a few videos about the game and plan to make it one of my core games going forward. So expect to see a lot more coverage and content on it starting very soon. So the natural question is, what's in store between now and launch? Well, we do have a few features confirmed that we know are coming. So first, we have trading factions. This system looks great. It overhauls the typical trade system that are seen in action RPGs. And as a quick overview, let's break down what exactly this means. So first, we need to understand what factions are, because they're not in the game right now, but they're going to be a big part of the game once launch rolls around. So these are groups that the player can align themselves with throughout the game. The first two factions will be trading factions, the Merchant Guild and the Circle of Fortune. Now, factions will allow you to gain reputation and improve your rank within the faction. We don't know much more about how this system works. Is it going to be quests? Is it going to be specific things that you're going to do, side quests, what? We don't know what it is, but we do know that we will be able to build up reputation and unlock ranks, and these ranks will give us better perks and things like that. We'll also be able to gain something called favor, which can be spent on faction services and rewards, and this is alongside any passive unlocks that happen from that faction. So I'll do a deeper dive into factions later on, but just as a high overview and for context of this video, that's all you really need to know. Okay, so let's dive back into the actual trading system and explain what these two factions mean. So one, we have the Circle of Fortune. So this faction is going to provide players with increased drop chances at Ascension runes. Exalted affixes are way more likely on items. Your uniques are twice as likely to have legendary potential, but you are solo self-found. So these are your items and your items alone, outside of gifting, which we'll get to that in a moment. Then we have the Merchants Guild. So the Merchants Guild gives you access to something called the Bazaar. Now, this is a place where you can browse items to buy or sell. Here, you'll be able to trade any item after reaching specific ranks. So at first, you won't be able to trade, exalted items or legendary items. So as you work up your faction and build up your ranks, you'll be able to start trading things like set gear, things like that. You won't be able to do it right out of the gate. And this is going to allow you to kind of transact with other players and hopefully find the item you're looking for. So essentially, this is just a fancy way of saying, do you want to be solo self-found with a bunch of kind of item rarity buffs, or do you want to be in the Merchants Guild and be able to trade with other players? I think either way, both types of players will be happy with this system. Honestly, I can't wait to get my hands on. I think this is a very unique approach to doing player trading in an action RPG. And I know because people will be asking, I mentioned it earlier, yes, item gifting will be a thing. So you will be able to gift items to your friends who were in the party when that item was dropped. There's also a new item called Resonance that's going to be coming at some point in time. And this Resonance is a specific item in your inventory that is gained after playing for a very extended period of time. That's a direct quote from the devs. And this allows you to essentially place a resonance on an item, which will then allow you to take that item and trade it to one of your friends who was not in the party when it dropped. So kind of a cool thing. We'll see how it works in practice. On paper, it looks pretty cool. Okay, so that's the trading system. And I know a lot of people are going to be really pumped for that. But the thing I'm really excited about is the final two masteries. That is the Warlock and the Falconer. So the Warlock is a master of dark arts and affliction, right? This is a mastery that the Acolyte can specialize in. Then we have the Falconer. This is a companion-based mastery for the rogue that pairs them with a falcon buddy. This has been one of my most anticipated masteries. I'm very much looking forward to what the Falconer is going to bring to the table and how it's going to take the identity of the rogue and kind of meld it together with a companion-based system. So those are the two masteries. I know Warlock has been something that a lot of people have been really amped up for as well. So I really want to see how these things have kind of shaped up over time, right? Because we've known about both of these masteries for a very long time. We've seen the class wheel, the mastery wheel, and it's been obviously out there and on the books, but we haven't seen any gameplay or really any sort of design. So it'll be interesting to see how those things have shaped up. So that all brings us to launch day, right? And sprinkled in, obviously, between now and launch day are going to be smaller updates, balancing things, maybe a new item every now and then, some changes. I'm full on expecting that. But honestly, besides that, I don't think we're going to see any huge kind of title updates like Rising Flames that we saw last time. But the juiciest news is what's coming after launch. So the devs plan to launch something called Cycles, which seems like these are a version of like seasons or leagues, and these are going to be packed full of additions, lots of refinements to many aspects of the game apparently. And we're going to see new end game content, skills, unique items, gameplay systems, quality of life features. So we're looking at a steady stream of new stuff to do, which is great, because I have a very good feeling that Last Epoch is going to solidify itself as one of those action RPGs that you can continue to come back to, right? You have Diablo 4, you have Path of Exile 1, and eventually 2, and now you have Last Epoch. And because of that steady stream of new content, it's going to continuously keep you kind of interested and entertained in the game. So after everything that we've seen so far, it's been a phenomenal road to this point, and I have full faith in the devs to do the right thing and have a really, really cool post-launch roadmap established. And honestly, for me, guys, this is a really awesome moment. I mean, 11th hour games, they played the long game. They avoided the Diablo 4 launch. They avoided the Path of Exile 2 launch. They've carved out their own community of ARPG gamers who love and just support the game holistically. They've grown in the spotlight. They've earned large praise from many big names out there. It's very cool to see. It's awesome to see. I mean, you have massive people. You have Asmongold talking about it. You have Rax, jumping in and playing it. And you have all of these kind of titans of this genre that are just speaking high praise to this game and how well it's done. So I wanted to give a little bit of context. This is always really fun, right? To see how it started versus how it's going. So here's some early alpha gameplay that I put together when I very first started covering Last Epoch. This is some early builds that I put together, some early gameplay stuff, some explanation videos, and big shout out to 00 Critical. Probably doesn't remember me, but he commented on one of my videos when I was very first starting on YouTube and said, hey, you need to check out this game called Last Epoch. And I was like, okay, cool. He goes, it's a time travel based action RPG. And honestly, you had me sold at time travel. So I jumped in, and it was great. This was like right after they had like pushed an alpha out after Kickstarter. So big shout out to 00 Critical for putting this thing on my map so early. But guys, I mean, they've overhauled systems, visuals, they've renamed classes. There's been tons of iterations of just everything over this journey. So it's been a really cool and fun project to see. So if you're a fan of action RPGs, be sure to check out Last Epoch. And if you want more Last Epoch content, be sure to subscribe. So I want to hear from you guys. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this launch. And will you be jumping in on February 21st, 2024 to finally see 1.0? Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.